With the 42nd ASEAN Summit approaching in 4 days, all hands are on deck to ensure that the event will run smoothly and, of course, securely.
Right, and more than 800 delegates will be arriving for the summit in the coming days, and Labuan Bajo's only airport finds itself busier than ever.
And to get the latest information on the preparations of the summit, we are now connected with our news team, Arya Sidarta and Adin Fatoni, who had just arrived in Labuan Bajo. Arya, what do you have for us?
Right, so as you mentioned, we are only 4 days away from the ASEAN Summit, the 42nd ASEAN Summit, which is one of two ASEAN Summits to be held here in Indonesia this year. And preparations are already well underway in Labuan Bajo to ensure that the event can be conducted smoothly and, of course, safely. And now this is notably the fourth time that Indonesia has been playing host for the ASEAN Summit, the last one being in 2011, more than 10 years ago. But this will notably be the first time that Labuan Bajo is being used as a venue for the ASEAN Summit instead of Bali, which has been used for as the venue for the ASEAN Summit for the past in the previous three summits. And Labuan Bajo, of course, has a tall order to fulfill as the venue for this year's summit. And things are already starting to ramp up. The activity is starting to get busier here in this small town, including here at the Komodo Airport, where I am at right now, where traffic is up and up. For example, the number of flights in Komodo Airport has increased twofold. They are now receiving around 40 flights per day, up from their regular around 20 flights per day. And of course, overall, it will be a busy few days for the airport as well as the whole town of Labuan Bajo in the coming days, because there will be around more than 800 delegates and a further more than 366 media workers that are going to be arriving here for the duration of the ASEAN Summit. And hotels around Labuan Bajo have had their hands full, and many of the rooms have found themselves booked. Around over 3,000 rooms in more than 100 hotels in Labuan Bajo have been booked for the duration of the ASEAN Summit. So many people are finding also difficulties to be able to find accommodations if they are booking a little bit too late. It's definitely a lot more busy than what this relatively quiet town of around 7,000 people are used to, and that lends itself a lot of security concerns as well. Of course, the National Chief of Police, Listio Sigit Prabowo, as well as the commander of the Indonesian Armed Forces, Admiral Yudo Margono, has been leading the way for the security for the summit. And around 12,000 security personnel have been dispatched, made up of members of the National Police, the Armed Forces, the National Intelligence Agency, among others. They will all be stationed here to be able to provide support and security for all the delegates and everyone involved in the ASEAN Summit in the coming days. Earlier this morning, General Listio Sigit Prabowo as well as Admiral Yudo Margono were present to inspect the readiness of the equipment, the vehicles, and also the many, many different security checkpoints gathered across the surrounding areas of the venue. And at least 3 Navy vessels have been dispatched, and they're going to be on standby in the Labuan Bajo area, one of them including the hospital ship of KRI Sudarso. So that will lend itself some more support for the security measures for the upcoming summit. Now, the ASEAN Summit is going to be quite different from the G20 Summit that was held last year in Bali, as there will be several unique obstacles due to the infrastructure of Labuan Bajo not exactly being as developed as it is in Bali. But of course, it's safe to say that, as you said, all hands are on deck in order to ensure that this event can be just, if not more, successful than the G20 Summit. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Arya.
Thanks, Arya.
Sidarta and Adin Fatoni reporting live from Labuan Bajo.